Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you Prestor John versus Pixy in round 2 of the second Steel Division 2 Championship. Today they're going to be playing on Tsel, and on our left in the red team, playing on the Soviet side, we have Prestor John using the 84th Guards rifles and the balanced deployment type. And on our right in the blue team, playing on the Axis side, we have Pixy using Koruck 559 and the flatline deployment type. So it's been a little while since I've casted a game with Koruck in 1v1, but Koruck can be really strong because it has access to an abundance of infantry. It has some decent sort of armored cars and light armored units that can really push hard in the early game. On the side of the 84th, it's a more well-rounded division. It has plenty to work with, including IS-2s. I think it also has the IL-237s as well. So yeah, some really standout units that the Soviets get access to. Let's have a quick look at which units are going down. So on the top side here for Prestor John, we have the 45mm at the front. It's also going to be a commander for this top side of the map. 3 Strafniki at the start of the game, very expensive squads. These are the 20-man squads which cost 40 points. I got the Vizivod UPR, 37mm AA, and 2 more Strafniki at the back there. Further down we see 3 snipers and Gvardia. On the bottom side, more Gvardia and snipers on the bottom. So a very concentrated force on this top side for Prestor John. A lot of focus on infantry, not a single tank to be seen. On the side of Pixy, we do have Shupo. Plenty of Shupo here, SS Shupo. We've got the MG34s in there, the PAK-36. There's also going to be the SBW-ADGZ, which is the 20mm autocannon vehicle. Further down, we're going to see loads more Shupo. There's also going to be a Flammenwerfer in there. Looks like some Landesschützen and Ost as well. A little bit of a traffic jam going on back there. MG34, PAK-36, 2 more SBW-ADGZs. So definitely liking those 20mm vehicles, and they are pretty decent. They do have a low amount of ammunition though, only 100 rounds in that 20mm, which can mean they run out super quick, but they have the MG, I guess, that can back up this infantry. Anyway, on this bottom side, more Landesschützen Ost and the SS Schupo, followed up by Rönerführer there, as well as Flammenwerfer, the PAK-36, and so on. That's pretty much the lot. Yeah, at the start, missed this air engagement. Ju-87D5 going up against the IL-237. It's coming in for the shots onto some of these transports. Lovely pickup there. Takes out the Flammenwerfer. Kills the SBW-ADGZ. Forces a Landesschützen Ost also to unload. Looks like here Pixie's just trying to make this IL-237 unload. I mentioned how this was part of the deck. Is the Ju-87 going to be able to get on the back of it? It is. Can it stay on the back of it though? That is the question. If Prestor John continues to micro this left and right, he should be okay. But I think what Prestor John's here is he's purposefully dragged the Ju-87D5 over the 2-star 37mm AA. And that's a really nice play there from Prestor John. It's allowed him to actually keep his IL-237 in the sky, and that's going to allow him to pick off the SBW-ADGZs across the map and take away that fire support from Pixy. That PAK-36 goes down to the snipers. The snipers are also getting the better of the MG34 in the open there, just due to sheer amount of numbers. But on this bottom side, I feel like Pixy might notice there's not too much here. Big old salient showing up with this Flammenwerfer pushing through. That's going to give Pixy access to more flags. IL-237 coming in for the run onto this ADGZ doesn't quite manage to make it happen. What Prestor John's trying to do here is trying to use this TU2F to spot the SBW-ADGZs and then use the IL-237mm to take it out. But Pixie's already on the ball, bringing in AA, Black 36, 37mm coming in, and another 37mm on the top side. We also see the IG-290 coming in. A nice infantry gun there to help against the Strafniki. So the SBW ADGZ there going to make short work of the Gvardia. But the Saperi, or snipers here, Sniperi, They are going to be doing quite a lot of damage to Landschützenhaus. Oh, nice snipe from the IL-237. Takes out the infantry gun before it unloads. Could have potentially also gone for the AA there as well. Flammenwerfer is going to get the better of the Gavardi. That's going to give another flag over to Pixy. And it looks like this flag might also land in the hands of Pixy as well. Yeah, completely neglecting this bottom side is going to give Pixy a big advantage at the start of the game. Pixy went for a much more spread out start. Has now reinforced the bottom side to take advantage of the position he's gained, which I really, really like. This concentration of forces from Prestor John, I really don't like this tactical decision, because at the start of the game he's probably like, oh, I'm going to stack the top side and then I'm going to push in. But what do you gain? Not really too much. You can contest this flag, but the only flag you really gain from making this top side push is this flag. There's not really much beyond that unless you really spread out across that top side. And where he kept all the troops so concentrated, yes, he's going to definitely be able to push through here, but there's not too much to gain in terms of ground. Whereas Pixy, who's spread out a lot more, can now take advantage of all this ground that's very lightly defended. And using these lightly armoured vehicles like the SBW ADGZs that are nice and mobile, he can really, really exploit that. So these SS Schurper pushing right up to the Gavardia. There's going to be a T-34E coming in, which will certainly do a lot of damage to Schurper, because the Schurper don't have any form of AT to really fight back against those T-34s. So these can certainly blunt any infantry pushes that come their way. I think basically Prestor John only really needs to care about the Pak-36s, and even then, at maximum range or at longer ranges, the Pak-36 is going to have a hard time penetrating the frontal armour of a T-34. So you're probably more reliant on the heat shells or the heat rockets that these Pak-36s can fire. Anyway, Schupo going to be one of them lost there in the transport. It looks like a lot of transports here have died as Prestor John's managed to make quite a lot of ground very quickly. And where Pixie's been trying to reinforce this, hasn't really noticed his troops going down. But he is way more focused on this bottom side, where he's managed to secure this offensive flag, this offensive flag. He's got the flag on the far side of the middle hill. And he's also now putting pressure onto this flag as well. So 15-9, 13 minutes until Prestor John losing the game. And at the moment, I feel like due to the fact that Prestor John's invested in these Strafniki at the start of the game, he doesn't really have enough infantry availability to spread across the rest of the map for the rest of Phase A, which is going to leave him in a pretty dire position for the next 5 minutes. So Landesschützenhaus, they're going to be engaging the Gavardia, and the numbers that Pixy has here really allows him to do a lot of damage against the Gavardia in a short amount of time. And regardless of how good an infantry squad is, if you outnumber them 2-1, that squad's going to die. I think the only squads that's really not the case is something like MP44 equipped Pioneer squad, like the Begleit Pioneers or the Hermann Göring Pioneers with MP44s. Either way, Ju-87 G1 going to be coming in to try and take care of the T-34E here. Tu-2F is back in the sky looking for more targets. But honestly, like, yes, the IL-237 managed to get a few kills. I don't think it actually got too many. Oh, lovely hit there from the Ju-87 G1. The T-34 attempted to hide, ended up running into the SS Schupo, which gave line of sight to the Ju-87 to get the kill. Lovely stuff indeed. Now looking for the T-34Es on the bottom side. No AA on the bottom side of the map for Prestor John. So this Ju-87 just freely flying around. And I think Prestor John's probably more reliant on AA in the early game than he is fighters. So yeah, he's going to be forced to bring in these 37mm AA. Going to lose another T-34 to the Ju-87. This Ju-87 is now out of ammunition, and now the 37mm aren't really going to be of that much use. So that's really quite tragic, actually, for Prestor John, because he's invested a lot of points into these AA. They aren't cheap, these AA. You see they're 80 points apiece. That's 160 points he's invested to deal with like a 100-point aircraft. This Ju-87D5, surprised he's going for this bombing strike on the top side, but he is going to manage to drop the bombs, and that is going to pin down 2 units of Strafniki in front of the Landesschützen Ost. If the Landesschützen can get those surrenders, that would be fantastic value for that squad. Guardia still in the way, doesn't want to let them kill his Pack 36 here. That would be unfortunate. Landesschützen and Schurpa, maybe send like at least the Schurpa squad back to help deal with the Guardia there. And the double AA, I really think it was a bit overkill bringing in 2, but it seems like a bit of a panic buy, if you ask me. Going to be bringing in some more Straf, some more Guardia. I'm surprised he hasn't brought in more infantry sooner. Maybe it's because he would be overwhelmed if he'd just done that. I like the way that he chose to use T-34Es to counter the infantry push, because, as I already mentioned, Schurpa and a lot of like the Koruck infantry doesn't really have decent AT. You can see that Pixie's actually supplementing by bringing the Speerverband, which have the Panzerschrecks equipped. But the Landesschützen Ost, SS Schurpa, the Flammenwerfers, no AA, or AT, sorry, in sight. The Rhôneführer leaders don't even have AT either. So yeah, a lot of this infantry is very vulnerable to T-34s like this, but they do need the infantry to support, and the infantry wasn't there already. And generally, you're going to want to bring in the infantry first because it's slower to walk forwards than the T-34s are to drive. So the T-34s would be able to catch up to the infantry rather than vice versa. Whereas now, like, the T-34E has been sat here for a while, trying to deal with the push, whilst the infantry is not really there to support. Ju-87 coming in again, going for another T-34E, this time up on the hill. Oh, sorry about the camera work there. Just trying to zoom in on the aircraft to watch that happen. Nicely done. Going to be swinging that around. Probably not going to be able to get the T-34E here, mainly due to these 2 AA pieces. That's going to be forced to fall back before it does anything. There we go. Just about managed to. Back 36 from Pixie's probably going to force back the Tu-2F again. But at the moment, looking pretty decisive. Pixie picking up 17-7. This flag certainly under threat. If a few more of these infantry start moving forwards, Pixie might not choose to do so, mainly because he's trying to capture this flag as well. But yeah, at the moment, he's forcing Prestor John to unload a lot of his infantry, a lot of his support weapons early, just as they come out the spawn across this river, and it's making things very, very tough. And honestly, with Pixie actually on this bottom side all the way up to this bridge, any infantry that comes across is going to be well exposed pushing through here. And, well, any tanks are also going to be falling prey to AT this further back. So, a pretty tough spot. And now, well, Pixie, having got a lot of value across the map so far, is now just flooding SS Schurpa into this top side. And I talked about infantry availability really being the main thing that Koruck has to offer. And he's certainly showing that. We move into phase B, and loads more Schurpa on the way. MG34s are going to come into the bottom side. We've got some LVF Grenadiers also coming in to help deal with the Strafniki there. This engagement still going on. Looks like the Schurpa have found themselves the 45mm AT. If they can kill that off, that'd be a lovely kill. Speerverband trying to get on top of the T-34E right now, but did get hit a little bit by the 37. If these Speerverband show themselves, the T-34E might just end up pinning them down nice and quick. But is that getting line of sight? Nope. Oh, the rifles actually from the Speerverband took out the 45, I think. Forced to fall back. They are disheartened, so they will automatically run away. Oh, there's this 3 under fire from the Schurpa at close range. Goes down very quickly. I just feel like the order in which Prestor John's bringing in his units has been less than ideal, and it's caused him to lose stuff unnecessarily. Like, especially in that case where he brought in the 45 and this is 3. I'm not sure what use they were supposed to be, because there isn't really much in terms of like an armor threat on the side of Pixie, so I'm not sure why you'd bring those in. He has the T-34E if he needs to deal with the ADGZ. So Yeah, I'm not sure why he brought in the 45 and the Zis 3. Zis 3 maybe to sort of help as an infantry gun against infantry, but you're better off just bringing in loads of your own infantry in that case. Now, Prestor John, he's going to be forced to use these Chernos now. I think you get 24 in a card in Phase B, so he's got a lot of these available. And that's really what he's just going to have to push back against the Schupa with in order to sort of maintain an equilibrium in terms of infantry on the map. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to help him out too much at this point because it's too far gone, but another lovely kill there from the Ju-87. Kills another T-34 on the bottom side. Yeah, these Chernos, they are better than Schupa, but unfortunately with Pixy holding 18-6, that's going to be a major defeat for Prestor John in 2 minutes, and the sheer amount of units still coming in from Pixy is just crazy right now. The LVF Grenadiers now pushing up onto the Strafniki and the Chernos here. They're going to be able to do quite well. I think the weapons of the LVF Grenadiers do outclass that of the Chernos and the Strafs. Also the Spjärverband moving in there to help out. SS Schupo coming in there as well. We do see the captured flak moving in. The 85-88. Landschützen Ost and the Schupo. Now going to have to deal with multiple OBs. Be interesting if Prestor John has a card of these in Phase B, but I expect these were available in Phase A, just didn't purchase them in Phase A. Yeah, going for the Strafniki push on the top side was super expensive in terms of infantry, and that's why you don't tend to see Strafniki all that often. I think he just kind of got overwhelmed by Pixie's potential to spread out across the map with cheaper squads. And that's really what caught him out in this game so far. Ju-87s. Looks like this one's going to go for the bombing strike onto the healthiest OB, since the others are already being killed off by the Schupo and such. Manages to pin down the other OB in the process. Dives away from the 37mm in the center. One of these did go down. 25 seconds though until victory for Pixy. That's going to be it. Prestor John surrenders, realizes there's not really much coming back from that. And yeah, I think this game, there was some cool little plays in there. I liked the recon use at the start from Prestor John alongside the IL-237. That was cool. Quite expensive start. And that coupled with the Strafniki, very expensive start. Pixie's use of the Ju-87s was really, really nice. Getting those strong kills onto the T-34s really, really helped him continue to push forwards with his infantry and maintain pressure across the map. So that was super important. But yeah, I think Prestor John's strategy from the very start was the reason that he lost this game. There wasn't anything that really happened throughout that I thought, oh, Prestor John's kind of done something wrong. Well, other than maybe bringing in those AT guns when he didn't need to. But yeah, I think just the strategy at the start, the thought process that Prestor John put down into his Strafniki, going for that top side push, was a little odd. If he'd spread them out a bit more and kind of went for 2 flags instead of 1, then that might have been a bit better, because he could have like seeded the bottom side but also gained a lot of ground on the top side to kind of like cancel that out. And then he would have had an advantage should Pixie not have pushed. But Pixie's a very decent player, and obviously he realized that there wasn't much defending that bottom side and really took advantage, because he probably saw the number of Strafniki on the top side, plus the IL-237, plus the recon plane, and then kind of, you know, summed up that he could make a good push from that. So yeah, I think Pixie kind of taking advantage of Prestor John's concentrated push on the top side was also part of the reason that Pixie won this game. But yeah, overall I think Prestor John's strategy was a little bit flawed. But if we look at the kills, yeah, the IL-237 didn't actually get as much value as I made out. It did get some transport snipes and it did kill like an ADGZ, but overall this is probably the same amount of points as an IL-237, if not less. So it's not like you're getting decent value for money out of this IL-237 at the start of the game. Also, if you include the TU Recon in that price tag, then definitely not. These Shupa, or these Strafniki, sorry, these pay themselves off quite a bit. Very nicely done there. But yeah, I'm not so convinced that you need as many squads of Strafniki to make that kind of push on the map. You could probably get away with bringing in like one Strafniki, a couple Gavaria, or maybe like 2 Strafniki, couple Gavaria, instead of doing like 4 Strafniki, for example. Because then at least you can have a few more extra Gavaria squads elsewhere on the map, which would have definitely slowed down Pixie's advance in that area, especially on the bottom side. These 37s, that was that point where he brought in 2 AA pieces. Seemed like a bit of a panic buy. Completely unnecessary. Probably only needed 1 of them just to make sure that Ju-87 went back. But by the time he brought them in, the Ju-87 had already used up its ammunition. So if we go over to the losses, we'll see that that's managed to pick up 3 kills there. The T-34E's going down, which does pay off the Ju-87 G1. Because I think these are 45 points or something. And so, yeah, this is only 100 points. So it's going to be getting extra value there. Shupo managing to kill multiple Gavadia and the Zis 3. Lovely value. I mean, all the Shupo really need to do is trade 1 for 1. And they get value across the board. Because like a Gavadia costs 20 points, Shupo costs 15 points. Strafniki costs 40 points, Shupo costs 15 points, etc. 45 mil costs like 35 points, Shupo 15 points, etc., etc. I mean, you get the idea. The infantry trades very, very well on Koruck, and you can get a lot of it, which is why they are very, very strong at the moment in 1v1s. But there we go. That is game. An interesting one to talk about the strengths of Koruck, and Koruck can be very, very fast in the early game due to its strong availability in infantry and its light armored vehicles to back it up. And we kind of saw that from Pixy. Maybe less so the armored vehicles, a few SPW ADGZs across the board, but not much else. Just a lot of infantry supported by the Ju-87 to kill off the armor that got in the way. And yeah, Prestor John just a little bit slow to bring in that AA. Did cost him a couple of T-34s for sure. But yeah, that is it. Pixie will be moving on to the quarterfinals. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the game. I found that one quite interesting, just to have a talk about some different divisions there. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.